So here we are today at the corner of 17th and Willard on the northern end of Dupont Circle, and we're looking at this beautiful in-unit house. It's actually fully detached technically because it's not attached to the building on the other side of it. It has a turret. I think actually some previous owner a billion years ago when I was a baby realtor and just started out had me come and look at this house and give them an estimate or description, whatever, comparable market analysis, marketing plan, and was considering me as one of the listing agents, was interviewing a bunch, and of course didn't pick me up. It's very, very new. There is no political content to today's video. It's for a completely different reason. It does so happen that a very famous libertarian activist actually lives in a condo right behind me, but we're not going to say his name or even look at his condo. It just so happens. What is weird, I think, because it's still April, is I was on this street earlier today, because I have to come on this street a lot, and the entire block of this side street, Willard, is all roses. And I mean, of course there are a lot of flowers around. There's a pansy across the street. But I just find it odd. I don't think of roses fully bloomed and flowers about to already fall off as an April flower. And it is still April. It's not May. May is next week. And these aren't like just blooming. I mean, there are still buds here. These are already fully bloomed roses. And what's really interesting about it is, and I just never noticed this, and I think these people actually deserve to be videoed just for this reason. It's all of Willard Street. Now, Willard Street is only one block long. It itself, it has a little funny fact about Willard Street, which is there is a street that is in the alphabetical street. So in other words, it's a street that runs from east to west in northwest DC, unlike numbered streets, which run from north to south. So in Dupont Circle, there is a street that exists every other block, and its name changes. So it's a series of streets that are all one block long, that have different names and aren't repeated anywhere else. And they don't exist in the even numbered blocks. They only exist in the odd numbered blocks. And I just think that's very humorous. Of course, this neighborhood, this particular street's just at the upper end of Dupont, which used to be more of a slum. Maybe that's why nobody famous lives here, so I can't tell you about anyone famous living in any of these houses. Nevertheless, the larger of these houses do now sell for like between $1.25 and $1.75 million. Anyway, but everyone here has planted roses, the entire block, besides just being flowering in general, and having, other attractive bushes and flowers. It also has lots and lots of roses. And I just think that's odd. I think it is because we had that unusually warm April, and all of these roses bloomed, and now we're having this cool late April. See, this one's just buds. Now we're having this cool late April, followed by perhaps a cool March. So I wonder if that means that we're going to have all these roses sort of blossoming and getting bigger, but then they won't actually die out in the heat. Although I think actually roses like heat, so I'm not sure they would be dying out anyway. I don't want to get strangers walking on the street in my video. So I'm going to cross momentarily where we have these people who have made the very good choice of having yellow pansies against gray paint. I think that's great. There's another one. Anyway, back to the north side of the street, which is in the front and has all the roses. And they do go all the way down. So we're going to go down the whole block filming the roses. This condo has nice flowers, but they need to weed. I think one of these is called the Oregon, if I remember correctly. Anyway, what's interesting about Willard Street is that between 13th Street and 14th Street, there's a street called Wallach that starts at 13th and ends at 14th. And it's parallel between T and U. And then it doesn't exist between 14th and 15th. But then between 15th and 16th, there's this street called Caroline. That begins at 15th and it ends at 16th. It's a very pretty street. Everybody wants to live on Caroline. All these streets are one way, I think, or some of them are one way, which makes them popular. This one's one way. Caroline. I forgot whether it's a one way or two way. Wallach is two way. Anyway, Caroline only exists between 15 and 16. Here are more roses. Caroline only exists between 15 and 16th. And it is in the exact same position between T and U. And it's one block. Then there's nothing. Here's some black or purple iris. Here comes another walker, so I'm going to film the other side of the street. Oh, there's a walker there too. Anyway, so Caroline's between 15th and 16th. Then this is Willard. Willard is also between T and U. It starts at 17th and it runs to 18th. These people are behind in the neighborhood competition, although they have non-blooming flower boxes up there. Anyway, then we have another huge batch of roses down here. And then, let's see, is there another one? So it always starts in an odd. There's some roses climbing up this house. Here's a rose. Here's another one of these. I think this must be some kind of Japanese bush, but I've forgotten the name of it. And here's another huge, massive rose bush. Here's a yellow one. That might be the first yellow one on the block. And then that's it. It becomes commercial down at this strip. So now we're going to go back. And going back, we're going to be much more in the sunshine. Anyway, let's see. So this is 17th to 18th. So between 19th and 20th would be the next one. And I think the pattern is actually disrupted. There is a Vernon Street. There are a lot of streets between 18th and 19th. Anyway, I think the pattern is disrupted partly by the massive Washington Hilton, which in D.C. is called the Hinckley Hilton because there's more than one Hilton, and it's the one where Hinckley shot Reagan. Anyway, but then once you cross over into Kalorama, there are a lot of streets that exist only between 21st and 22nd, and I think the one that's parallel to this is Leroy. So I think Leroy Place continues the Wallach, skip to Caroline, skip to Willard, and then it skips to probably Leroy Place. I don't know if any of those other streets have all the great flowers, and in particular the roses that this one has going on this year. I suppose I could go look later today or next month. But I'm really mainly just struck by the existence of all these roses that seem to have bloomed in April. And you know, the ditty goes, April showers make May flowers. But apparently this year, March showers made April flowers, because these are all roses that are already fully bloomed on Willard. So, if you're out having dinner at Dupont Circle, perhaps you should stroll through Willard Street between 17th and 18th and enjoy the flowers this week. I'm trying to think of who in particular is close to here to do that. Reason Magazine's offices are not terribly far away, but actually I think, well, I don't know. Probably some people who live and work in Dupont. Apparently someone just had a girl. That doesn't happen all that much in Dupont Circle. Anyway, I guess I'll stop.